Take your shirt off. Take your shirt off. Plantain. Shirtless Plantain Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show. Happy New Year's from us to you. If you can't tell already, the government shutdown has affected our plantain supply, but we have some fantastic American dinner for you guys. Some beautiful stuff here. Shout out to our president and shout out to the wall. I really hope you guys enjoy Small Chips and the main show as well. And thank you guys for your continued support. Today, football has been great. All the leagues are back, even in France. I mean, PSG dropped 9 on the whole team just because they can. Like, why not? Eden Hazard's tired. You know, traveling from Miami to London is exhausted, especially when the Torque video dropped. So Eden Hazard's very, very tired from that. Chelsea stink. That's another thing that you guys also realize. Tottenham players are dropping faster than TSA standards. It's not good at all. Everyone's getting hurt. Thierry Henry, he's bald, he's angry, and he's losing games. 5-1 again. Henry's just, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's not good at his job. So sit back, stay in, and we're gonna have a great show for you guys today. We've had 6 months to kind of evaluate some of these players, these managers, and we want to kind of, you know, discuss what's really going on. You know, there's some players who are not that good, and some managers who are not that good. I decided to get a real close and personal friend to us. We call him Generic American Soccer Fan 1. He has a TV, and it's a fatback TV, not a flat screen, and he watches soccer like us. So, you know, welcome to the show, American Generic Fan number 1.
Thank you, my fellow American.
Freedom. Speaking of Americans though, Jorginho, let's start off with him, because the way he moves, he has no freedom. He has different hips that, you can fill out the rest because this is a family-friendly show. What do you think about Jorginho so far for Chelsea?
Honestly, I mean, you know, like you said a second ago, it's been a couple months, and I suppose now we should have our impressions of players sort of set in stone at this point. Or maybe not necessarily set in stone, but we should have an early impression of players. And I see what he does. Jorginho is my favorite type of player. I love a regista. I love a defensive, you know, a playmaker that's stationed further back on the field. Yeah. Those are my favorite types of players. But the thing about Jorginho is that I don't think, despite the fact that he's playing for the coach that basically made his career in Mauricio Sarri, I don't necessarily think that he has the right people around him just yet. So I think it might be a little too early to judge him. Yeah. That said, he has shown so many instances of bitch-assness throughout his time at Chelsea that it's kind of, if I were a Chelsea fan, I'd be very frustrated, you know, because I mean, it's kind of hard to have a guy like Eden Hazard on the same team, you know, that's built like a brick shithouse, you know, built like Cardi B and whatnot. And you got this other guy on your team that's built like another, like a generic Ellen DeGeneres. Like this nigga, I mean, he's just so wispy, you know? Yeah. He looks like wind will blow him over. Like, and I can't make a judgment. I think ultimately he's going to fail. That's why I come down on it, you know, but that's probably because I hate Chelsea in general, but I'm just not that impressed. I think he needs a little more energy to succeed in England, and he lacks it. He's already in his prime. Like you said, his hips are stiff as shit. He has the turning radius of Wes Morgan after 13 red stars. It's just not a good look, man. I don't know. I'm worried about that dude.
You know what's not a good look? Chelsea trying to get Higuain. At 31 years old, Higuain is probably built like a stripper in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, Lord.
It's not good. And I just don't understand what Chelsea are doing. But for me, it's great because at the end of the day, I just want to see Chelsea fail, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
If I may interject real quick about Higuain, like, I think you know, like, we all agree that he's not clutch. That's not the same as not being good. You don't hold the Serie A scoring record by being a bum.
Not at all.
But he's definitely not clutch. I mean, like, when it comes squeaky bum time, he goes full Chris Webber. It's trash. Yeah. You know, he's also a bitch-ass nigga in that respect. Plus, he's bald and his teeth look weird, you know, and that's important.
You know who else is not good, though, as a player? Naby Keita. I don't want to take too much time, but that guy looks like a dictator from every generic West African country, and he plays like one, too. So I don't want to soak him.
He actually looks Gabonese to me, to be honest. He has a very Gabon face to it, you know, like, he looks like his name should be Omar Bongo, you know, but... all he's doing is sending money home. He's not playing well.
Yeah, so basically he's just Eric Dumba Jumba with an HDMI cord. So we can also now look at players like Van Dijk, who, you know, when he got there, he's done well. You know, Van Dijk is now the rock of Liverpool. We also can take a look at Alexis Sanchez, who stinks. But we also take a look at managers too. For example, Sarri.
Do you think he's doing a good job so far? Do you think he stinks at the moment?
I think he smells like cigarettes, and he's not good. He smells like nicotine and failure. That's about it. It's not good. I don't like it.
I personally feel like, I mean, like, take Pep Guardiola. It took him a whole season to get his shit in place.
Yeah.
It took Klopp, I mean, his first season, he finished 8th.
Yeah.
You know, so I think Sarri still deserves some time. I think managers probably more than players.
Okay.
They get less time to succeed in their jobs, but they need more time to actually implement their, you know, their strategies. You know, because they're the ones that are running a squad of 23 people at a minimum.
Yeah.
A player just has to play well for himself.
Yeah.
And for the team, I guess. But a manager is responsible for everybody. You know, and you, in addition to that, you got to put the right image across. You know, some teams, Arsenal, have managers that look like fucking losers. They just give off the aura of a loser. Doesn't matter what they've won in the past or what they win in the future. They smell like losing. They look like losing. You know, and Sarri, to his credit, besides when he's wearing that stupid ass smock that he wears on the sideline sometimes, he might be able to do something someday.
I mean, and then there's also managers who have hype and then they just don't do well, like Marco Silva. I mean, for me, he's just Portuguese Alan Kirbysley.
Bro, he's just a Shanta AVD, man.
Yeah.
Like he's Andre Villa trash ass. Like, this nigga is trash, man.
Yeah, he's...
Like, I defended him so hard. I actually thought he'd be a contender to replace Wenger at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Phew. That would have been a disaster.
And you know what was a big example of how trash he is? He lost to Polo Ralph this weekend.
Polo!
Yeah. He's been at Southampton for not that long, and he's just been, like, doing the damn thing over there. The coolest thing about him is that, like, he wears a hoodie with gloves like he's on the road. It's so cool.
Do you think that him succeeding at Southampton is actually does it have more to do with his tactical approach or just that new manager bound shit? Because you know when a new manager comes in, more often than not, the team would do well. I mean, like, look at United. They've won 7 straight games.
Yeah.
But their manager still looks like a pedophile. I mean, and that's not going to change.
I mean, Ralph is just good at tactics. I mean, when you saw him at Leipzig, that's what he was doing. So I think it's a bit of both.
Honestly, like you mentioned earlier, I live in America.
Yeah.
They don't show Southampton games on American TV. You don't have time for that shit.
There's certain players, you know, that, you know, take times with that. Certain players who get a lot of money. One of them, we're looking at you, Philippe Coutinho. A lot of money was spent on him. And, you know, he doesn't really start for Barcelona like that. And every time he does play, it just looks like he just doesn't fit. He's like a bootcut jean on Jordans. That's what he is.
You remember when Barcelona spent years trolling Arsenal about Cesc Fabregas? And they finally got him?
Yep.
And he's talented. Nothing changed about that. But he didn't quite fit either.
Yeah.
And he was there for a couple of years. They played him at false 9, played him at false bench, played him false everywhere.
Yep.
And eventually he left for Chelsea.
Yep.
And Coutinho is a lot like that because I feel as if the only reason Barcelona was really interested in Coutinho to begin with was because Neymar was there, and Neymar just wanted someone else to run trains on his with.
Wow.
And that was the guy he chose. Then Neymar left, and they were like, well, shit, man, who else we going by? And they just bought him.
Coutinho reminds me a lot of Isco, who reminds me a lot of Thiago. There's a lot of sexiness in their way that they play and they look, but there's not a lot of effectiveness.
Aesthetically pleasing bums.
Yeah, there's a lot of what do we call it? Penetration that's needed in the final third of the pitch. And those guys really good with the foreplay, really good at it. But when it comes to finally like settling down and like doing the thing, it's just lacking. You know?
Yeah, you know, they're millennials, you know? Like, it's really hard to have kids in this generation, you know? It's hard to penetrate. It's hard to finish the job. You know, you can't just drop loads anyhow. The economy is tough.
The juxtaposition is you look at Coutinho and then you look at Ousmane Dembele, who's like really good at football. Like, he's really good, and he's just part-time, you know? All he really does is just play like Football Manager and what's the other game those little kids play? Fortnite, yeah. That's all he does. And yet he just drops like...
And on top of that, he got to deal with racism on top of that. It is Barcelona. It is Europe. Yeah, but he's actually good. Meanwhile, this fucking Wesley Sneijder with a tan, like every time I get in the final third, I'm going to take a shot instead of looking for a pass number. Like, you know... We should make this a general rant about how I hate 10s, like attacking midfielders that don't actually have a final pass. Why do you exist? Why didn't your mother you? I do not understand these niggas. He's supposed to pass to the nines.
Hey, I think that
Coutinho doesn't pass, man.
I think this is.
I have a right to be mad at him. He should pass the ball more often. He's a shooting merchant.
I think this is where we stop because that's it. That's just where we stop. Alexis Sanchez signed last year and he stinks.
Chilean DMX.